My name is Margaret, and I'm 67 years old. I never imagined I'd be starting over at this age. But sometimes life doesn't ask for permission. It just pushes you. I was married for 41 years. My husband, Arthur, was a stable man, never passionate, never expressive, but dependable. We raised 2 children, built a life, paid off our home. I never once thought about what I wanted. I was too busy being everything for everyone else. It started after Arthur passed away. It wasn't sudden, he had been ill for a while. I was his caretaker for nearly 3 years. By the time he was gone, I didn't know who I was without him. The house was quiet, painfully quiet. For months, I kept to a routine: morning tea, reading by the window, walking slowly to the store even if I didn't need anything. I felt invisible in my own life. One afternoon, I saw a flyer at the community center. Creative writing for beginners, ages 60 and up. It felt silly, but something inside nudged me. I showed up the next week in my plain gray cardigan, hands trembling slightly. The room was full of soft chatter and curious eyes. I took a seat near the back and listened. The instructor, a woman named Teresa, asked us to write about a moment we'd never shared with anyone. I froze. But that night I wrote. And the next night. And the night after that. I wrote about my teenage dreams of becoming a journalist. I wrote about the time I wanted to travel alone but canceled the ticket because Arthur wasn't comfortable with it. I wrote about the voice in my chest that I had buried so deep it had almost disappeared. 3 weeks in, Teresa approached me after class. "Have you ever considered submitting to a publication?" she asked. I laughed. "I'm too old for all that." She smiled gently. "That's exactly what they want you to believe." That night, I submitted a piece anonymously to an online magazine. I didn't expect much. A month later, I got an email. They wanted to publish it. My heart stopped. I cried like a child, ugly, full sobs in the middle of the kitchen. But that wasn't the turning point. The real moment came when I ran into an old neighbor, Daniel, maybe mid-40s. He asked how I was. I told him about the writing class. He smiled, then chuckled lightly. "Well, that's cute. Something to pass the time, huh?" I felt it like a slap. Cute? Pass the time? I went home and looked at myself in the mirror. That was the night I decided I would not fade quietly. Over the next few months, I wrote daily. I submitted everywhere. I started a blog. My 3rd story got over 10,000 views. A small podcast invited me for an interview. I got emails from women in their 60s and 70s saying, "Thank you." I thought I was alone. No, I didn't become a famous author overnight. But I became me again. Not Arthur's wife. Not the widow. Not too old. Just Margaret. And that's more than enough.